Improving my 5-inch gauge Lion steam locomotive, Part 1. The overview. This locomotive is well made in most areas, but less well made in others. I spotted some of these problems when I bought it in 2020. I'm sure that I will find other problems, but overall it is not bad. I like the way this model looks, but I seldom steam it. This is not a compilation, but the first part of this video is taken from my series A Lion Locomotive in 5-inch gauge when I first bought it. I paid too much for it, but I like it. Here are some clips from 2020. A 5-inch gauge Lion locomotive designed by LBSC. I'd like to show you how it works underneath, so I'm very carefully tipping it over on its side on the kitchen table. Or should I say, onto some very thick bubble wrap on the kitchen table. And this is what's underneath, quite a lot. It doesn't look very complicated from the outside, but inside it's a different story. I'll take some time to show what all the parts are and explain what they do. First of all though, I've removed some of the oil and grime using a paper towel. The first thing to have a look at is the main crank axle. This is a very important component. The slip eccentric valve gear is also fitted to the crank axle. More about this shortly. The eccentric rods connect the two eccentrics to the two valves in the steam chest. And there's a right piston crosshead and a left piston crosshead. And at the top of the picture is a crosshead driven water pump. This will pump water into the boiler when it's running. The amount of water that's pumped into the boiler can be regulated by a water bypass valve, which if opened returns the water to the tank instead of pumping it into the boiler. At the front, of course, is the cylinder block. Test running on a rolling road using compressed air. Because this engine has slip eccentric valve gear, before opening the regulator I need to rotate the wheels either forward or backwards, and in this clip the engine is running in reverse. When I shut the regulator and move the wheels forward, then open the regulator again, the engine runs in a forward direction. I'll stop talking for a short while and let you have a listen to it. From that short run, I can see that there are problems with this engine, which for me is a good thing. I cannot make videos if the engines are perfect. And I knew this one wasn't going to be perfect, and it's not. And what are the main problems that I can see immediately? Well, problem number one is a minor one. The engine is over-oiling, radically over-oiling. The main problems that I've found with the engine immediately are as follows. The crank axle needs some attention, because it's very slack and it's moving around. Other problems related to the main crank axle is the fact that the external crank that connects to the coupling rod is loose. Oh yes, and the crank pin is also loose and the coupling rod needs rebuilding. Having said all that, the engine runs surprisingly well, and I've seen a couple of videos of this engine running on the track, and it seems to run fine. So what's the problem? Here's a close-up view. Can you see what the problem is? The side plate on all of the coupling rod bushes is not the problem, but the loose crank and the fact that the coupling rod looks like it's going to drop to pieces is a problem. If you look at the external cranks, it looks like they were bushed. Possibly the centre hole was originally machined the wrong size. You can clearly see there's definitely a bush in there. A bush with quite a bit of play on the axle. When I look at the front one, it's not too bad. This is quite a good fit. But at both sides the crankshaft is too short. I'll replay the image of the front crank and you can see the difference. This has a centre hole in it, and the crankshaft sticks out of the crank web just a small amount. And now, in 2026, the time has come to revisit these problems. Is the wheel loose on the axle, or is the entire crank axle loose? That is the question. I'll find out in due course. This crank axle is assembled using what are called roll pins. I've never found these to be successful long term. I would always drill the holes through the parts and then ream them for a taper pin. Having said all that, including what was shown in the archive footage, the engine does run quite well. The lubrication system needs some attention. For one thing, the T-piece is leaking. You can clearly see this. and where it sat on the window ledge in my lounge is now covered in oil residue. Back in 2022, I fixed the coupling rods. They're nice and tight now, not a problem at all. But I have noticed that at least one of the crank pins is loose. I'll fix this in due course. It's time to sit the engine on my rolling road. It makes it easier to work on because I can rotate the wheels. If it was sat on the bench, I would have to move the locomotive to rotate the wheels. Using these rolling road units makes it easier also to turn the locomotive around to work on the other side. The first job is to remove the crank webs by tapping out the taper pins. Always use a piece of brass to do this. Only use light hammer blows and try not to hit the engine with the hammer. That's one removed and it goes into the plastic box. I'm pretty sure that this crank web has been bushed in the past and it's quite a tight fit on the axle, which is a good thing. Clearly a lever is required, but be very careful and don't use the lever at the top. Otherwise you may mark the axle box and that would not be good because it's very visible. It's okay though to lever it at the top now because it's loose. But you must avoid this sort of thing. This will definitely mark the axle box. By gently tapping the screwdriver as shown, the crank web was detached from the axle. Time now to remove the coupling rod. These are just held by small pieces of bar threaded down the middle and milled at each side so you can get a spanner on them. This is not ideal because I suppose they could work loose, but I have noticed the presence of some Loctite. Luckily it's Loctite thread lock, not Loctite retainer. So once you break the seal, it's quite easy to remove the nuts. You can see here why it's a good idea to have the engine mounted on these rolling road assemblies. It's altogether the best way I've found to rotate a locomotive on the bench. Don't worry, I'm not going to show the removal of every part. This is the other side of the crank axle, and here I'm releasing the coupling rod as I've just shown you on the other side. Quite a simple job so far, and I hope all of the job is as easy as this. With the nut out of the way, I can remove the coupling rod and swing it clear. Now I can have a really close look at the crank pin. Here it is, and it's very much a rattle fit in the crank web. Once again, it's pinned using roll pins, which are never a good idea. They tend to move around a bit. Roll pins are made from hardened steel, but they're hollow down the centre with a slit down the side, and they compress into the hole, but the compression doesn't last forever. And that is the job so far. There's quite a lot more to come. This is only the introduction overview. I'd just like to say, as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.